Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for watching. This is my simulated presentation for the next meeting at Denver, Colorado next week. I'm going to start. The first part is Gabby's part. She's given an economical background of Mexico. And let me see. Okay, there I go. Before 2011, this was the checklist for our supervision guidelines. Most of the issues suggested for evaluation were covered. However, we did have some missing points, especially on those areas: ENT, sleep, immunologic, dermatologic, behavior, and adult care. After our first DSMIG meeting in San Antonio, Texas in 2011, with the release of the updated guidelines and the main topics of the agenda at that time, we realized that adult healthcare issues, mental health, and obstructive sleep apnea were out of our checklist. Of course, we were concerned about adult healthcare. Dr. Gabby and me, Dr. Aguiarte and me, we both are pediatricians, but we know our limits. Fortunately, there's an internist within the clinic, so we can take a breath. We were shaken with the impact that sleep issues represented in almost every discussion, and we realized how far we were from evaluating these topics in our population. Of those emerging themes, and since we are focusing children, we decided to start searching options for including OSA in our healthcare checklist. We know that the polysomnographic study, the PSG, is the gold standard study for making diagnosis of OSA. But unfortunately, this is an unavailable resource for us. We found that in Mexico City there are only three public sleep laboratories, and even though these are public facilities, all patients must have to pay a fee that can go from $400 to $600 per study. We also found a few more private sleep laboratories, but definitely these are much more expensive. We're talking that the PSG can cost over $1,000 per person. And this is absolutely out of most patient resources. And besides, neither had experience in children or in people with developmental delays. So we knew that PSG it's not an option. So we know that PSG it's not an option for us, but we wanted to search within our possibilities, trying to find the option for a start and initial evaluation. As many of you, we have been working in strengthening relationships among doctors or peers interested in our population and aim to help. And that's how we could have access to this echocardiographic screening, cardiologic evaluation, and ENT clinical evaluation contributions. We also thought it was a good idea to buy a pulse oximeter for the clinic and start recording ambulatory measurements. The OSA guidelines in children says that objective testing is preferable to clinical evaluation alone. And about the health supervision for children with DS, and with the determinant recommendation for a sleep study in all children with DS by 4 years of age, we wanted to attempt an initial evaluation with those resources. We did a search on what has been done with pulse oximetry as an alternative for evaluation of OSA in general population. We did not find much in Down syndrome, but these are some of the conclusions that we found. First of all, many studies says that it's highly useful for the diagnosis and management of OSA. It also said, we also found that In suspicious cases, a positive nocturnal oximetry trend graph has at least 97% of positive predictive value, and that it's a method that can quickly and inexpensively identify children at risk. We also found that in general population, pulse oximetry is a reliable study to diagnose OSA due to adenotonsillar hypertrophy, and keeping in mind that there is a high prevalence of this in Down syndrome, and no matter the limitants of the pulse oximeter that we also found, we thought, better than nothing. We could try it and take a shot with our resources. In this part, Gab is going to present the first step of our evaluation, the conclusions, and this is my second part. Okay, so after the conclusions that Dr. Gabi Eguarte already said, we knew that we needed to enhance our screening. We wanted to propose an alternative montage for screening, including 4 different issues. With the results, we thought we could make a better diagnostic approach, and this is our proposal. First of all, we want to complete the continuous pulse oximetry with another simplified study. We are using a cardiopulmonary coupling device. This device is a contribution of our ENT pediatrician with whom we are working together in this, and it is important to say that we are not very familiarized with this device and its accuracy, but what we do know that it is the option that we have. The cardiopulmonary coupling device incorporates cardiopulmonary coupling technology to measure patient sleep quality. We are also doing a quick upper airway evaluation. We are registering the anthropometry of the patient, and we also want to include a questionnaire for parents. We found very interesting the questionnaire used by Denise Rose and collaborators, so we translated it, adapted, and it's the one that we are using. Hope you don't mind. About our quick upper airway evaluation, we wanted to keep it as simple as possible, so we are doing only a visual evaluation of tonsils and turbinates, and we want to keep it simple. We have only 2 options: obstructive, are they obstructive or not? This is our equipment. This is our low-cost equipment. We have pen light, tone depressors, the pulse oximetry, the cardiopulmonary coupling device, and paper and pencil for the questionnaire. About the CPC device, this is the short report that we are getting. It gives us a sleep quality index. We also have an spectrogram. This spectrogram is obtained from the heart rate variability coupled with respiratory frequency during sleep. It has been validated with PSG and can estimate sleep stages and provide an estimated possibility of sleep breathing disorders. The report also gives us some other variables like actigraphy and snore. In here, I want to show you an abnormal report where we can see in this spectrogram these highlighted areas. When cardiac respiratory measurements are not coupled, we get these highlighted peaks. Highlighted peaks can be related to the possibility of SDB. Well, this is what we are doing. As far as now, we are facing some obstacles. First of all, the necessity to determine the accuracy and the practicality of the CPC device. We also are having some technical problems in placing the devices in non-cooperative patients, toddlers and preschoolers. We know that there would be a failure to obtain standard parameters of severity, and we are going slow. Until now, we have only one device for over 400 patients in our clinic. We have evaluated with it until now. We have evaluated with our enhanced screening proposal 12 patients, and this is an ongoing pilot study. Before continuing, we wanted to present it here and listen to your ideas and thoughts in order to improve our efforts. As far as now, we have reached some first conclusions. We know that many studies for general population support the use of any complementary objective study to enhance clinical diagnosis of OSA, but we need more clinical trials in Down syndrome population. It is necessary to enhance pulse oximetry registry. We know it's not enough by itself, so we needed to complete with other simplified studies, questionnaires and clinical evaluation. And we also know about the importance of acknowledge that limited resources areas must search within its possibilities to get as close as possible to gold standard studies. We already present step 1 and step 2. Of course, there has to be a third step. We want to pursue validation. Definitely, we would love to correlate our results from the enhanced screening proposals versus the polysomnography. For doing this, we definitely would need the contribution of a sleep laboratory. We are in negotiation with the sleep laboratory of the National University of Mexico, and we hope to have some results to present by summer of 2014. Well, that's all for me. These are the final thoughts and the end. Thank you.